gold, Russell Westbrook or Anthony Davis? NBA Today starts right now. Welcome to NBA Today. I'm Malika Andrews, joined by Richard Jefferson, Kendrick Perkins, Zach Lowe. Real quick, before we roll the highlight, in one word, how would you sum up, Zach, the Warriors' performance last night?
Just shellacking, I guess.
Shellacking?
Just shellacked them.
Is that okay? Okay. Richard, one word.
Scary.
Scary.
Yeah, scary.
Scary. Yeah, I'm not.
Let's take a look at the highlights. Steph Curry and the Warriors taking on Kevin Durant and the Nets, and it was scary hours for an entirely different reason, Richard.
No, it was impressive watching Steph and KD go on it, because that's what everybody wanted to see. Everyone wanted to see these two high-scoring individuals that do it in an efficient variety of ways. And look, Steph was knocking down threes. The bench knew when Steph gets into this mode, look, over two guys from deep, there's no way to guard that.
Well, and the crowd appreciated that when he went to the line. Take a look at what the Barclays Center crowd was chanting. There were some MVP chants there.
The Warriors, the Lakers, the Knicks, they have fan bases. They travel. That's fine.
That's embarrassing for the Nets.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I've heard LeBron get chants in the Garden.
Well, let's take a look at the third quarter then, because the third quarter, that is where the Warriors, they thrive. They have a plus 107 point differential in the third. That's the best in the NBA.
No, it is. And this is what happens. The Warriors wear you down. You might be able to do it for one quarter or two quarters, but the way they wear you down is so impressive to maintain guarding and chasing. And look, let's just be really honest. They could not match that offensive firepower that the Warriors were throwing at them. Lack of transition, lack of communication. The Brooklyn Nets had multiple areas where they were just efficient. And look, when you're the leading scorer in the league, goes 0 for 8 in the third quarter, the game is not going to look good.
And 0 for 4 when Draymond Green was the primary defender. So 6 seconds left in the third, and then this just happens.
Sure.
I mean,
why not?
Look, that's the type of night that you were going to have. Even my guy Iggy is shrugging his shoulders. He's like, hey, whatever. That's my guy.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, Arizona.
Arizona.
Well, then in the fourth quarter, Warriors up 18 and deep.
And look, what are you going to do? Look, at this point in time, it was
drive home.
Drive
37
home
points for Curry. Warriors blow out the Nets. Here's Steve Kerr afterwards.
After all these years, what makes the system so difficult to defend?
Steph Curry. There's never been anybody like him. So he's an offense by himself, and you're winning, and you get the incredible display of skill from Steph. People are going to watch.
Into the hands of Curry. Oh, rattles one home. Steph Curry is in his bag.
We're on the road on the away team, and they're cheering for us. I guess, that's the perks of having Steph on your team.
Lee looks for someone, finds the right someone, and Curry knocks it down. What a night.
I mean, he's a master at what he does. That's what you get, every night is a player like that playing at all-star, MVP, Hall of Fame level. You got to respect it.
So there's a whole lot to unpack in this one, and we'll get to all of it. The Warriors' third quarter, what happened to the Nets in the second half because they just disappeared, and even Klay Thompson getting closer, ever so close to returning. But we have to start with Steph. His 37 points elicited those MVP chants that we already heard. But Richard, what was the most impressive part of Steph's night?
We could talk about Steph. I really think the most impressive thing that I saw, and I know I'm going to answer a completely different question, was the coaching. I thought the coaching was amazing. The defense that they put out, on the Brooklyn Nets, I think that freed up Steph a lot to just run around. They weren't trying to pick on Steph because they were running triangle and twos. They were running these zones. When Steph has that extra gear on the offensive end because you can't really attack him on the defensive end, his offensive numbers go through the roof, and it just becomes even more impressive.
Perk was noting that on Twitter.
Yeah, but I'm gonna answer the question.
That's you.
In school, I actually,
the disrespect
listening.
that he has next to me. Can you guys actually swap?
Yeah, it's all good. But here's the thing about Steph, right? His sense of urgency. And we all know, right? We could watch Steph and the Golden State Warriors play, and we know when Steph he's there, but he's not all the way there. But like, watch him guard James Harden on this play, his defense. We know he can make shots, but him paying attention and getting down and dirty. Look, not fouling, active hands into James Harden. James Harden was trying to, go into his bag and gobble on. Yeah. And so when I watched Steph last night, I could see it in his eyes, because usually he'll have a few turnovers that you'll be like, Steph, why did you throw that? It wasn't like that last night. He wanted this game.
Oh, he wanted that game.
What stood out to you, Zach?
Nobody plays like Steph Curry, and nobody has ever played like Steph Curry, running around like that, drawing attention all over the floor, 2 guys chasing him wherever he goes.
3 guys.
The secret sauce for the Warriors, we all pay attention to the long threes, the Splash Brothers, even their defense. The secret sauce for them has been that they get to the rim a lot. They're 5th in shots at the rim this year, 4th in shooting percentage at the rim, and that's because 3 dudes are chasing Steph at half court, and guys like Kevon Looney are like, oh, cool, I'll just dunk. Draymond, I'll just dunk. Andre, I'll just dunk. And they get to the rim a lot because of him and the way he plays, which is a singular style in the NBA.
So is he just the ultimate space creator? Is that just like a prototype that replicate it?
There's no, I mean, think about Damian Lillard. He doesn't move around like Steph. He can shoot like Steph from long range. He doesn't move like that. I say normal rules of spacing do not apply to the Warriors because of Steph. They can play 2 or even 3 non-shooters and still get looks at the rim, still get good looks because of him and also Clay.
And that's the secret sauce, the secret stuff. And we spend time talking about Golden State's offense, but their defense has been on full display, especially last night. Zach, there was one specific sequence that you wanted to highlight. What was it?
Yeah, I just love this clip that we're going to hopefully play. Kevin Durant tries to fool the Warriors defense by rejecting a screen right here. He's got Andre on him. Draymond reads that, switches onto him. Andre reads that, switches out, and then the play dies. And look how they react to it. The play dies, and Draymond's excited. Andre pumps his fist. They have this moment of high-fiving because you may not realize it. The fans may not realize it. Those two of the smartest guys to ever play this game, realized, oh, we had like a little emergency brewing. We saw it right away. We switched it on the fly. We snuffed it out. High five. Boom. I love little moments like that. That's a sign of like a healthy team culture. They take pride in that little stuff that maybe we don't even notice watching the game.
Doing the little stuff, doing the dirty stuff. That was what.
Oh, let me try this new thing.
Boy, careful.
Let me try this new thing. Walk with me. Walk with me. Look, RJ he can't stand it. We talking about defense. Shout out to Ron Adams and Mike Brown. Pause it. You cannot tell me that the Golden State. Yeah, they can. Listen, right here. You can't tell me this is not film room. Look what Andrew Wiggins is doing to James Harden. No, it wasn't. It was a good challenge on his left side. Same scenario, different person, right? Look at it. Close the gap. James Harden rise up. I'm going to contest. Yes, he's left-handed. I get it. But this is something that they studied in the film room. Same different person, Otto Porter, same challenge, same results. You're looking at it right now. You cannot tell me that they wasn't in that bag. Look, Mike Brown on the sideline. I pay attention to everything. He called diamond, showing different zone coverages, showing different defensive. Look, Steph Curry. Everybody's alert. All the focus on James Harden. Make other guys beat us. They can't do it. Golden State win.
Golden State won handily, and
it was pretty impressive. Not gonna lie.
His telestration or that?
No, the game. His telestration.
That's why he wanted to be a part of it.
He was double checking.
That was impressive. That was impressive.
And the win was impressive. And yes, the Nets, they did not have Joe Harris, but leading up to this game, we billed it as a possible finals preview. And after it was over, Brooklyn actually used it as a measuring stick.
I just don't think we're in that category yet. We got a lot of work to do. You know, we're trying to, improve as a group, get better, and hopefully we can find a way to overcome some of our deficiencies by the end of the year.
The goal is to be the best team at in the season and in the postseason. That's the goal. We're probably not. We're probably nowhere near it. But it's a long season for us to get better, and we will continue to get better.
That's a team that you look at and. You take a lot from that as a team and understand that's the level you want to get to.
All right, so Richard, I want to start with you here. You heard Steve Nash say the Nets just aren't in the same category as the Warriors. What say you?
I think right now that's true. I think right now, when you look at the way that, the Brooklyn Nets are constructed, and what I loved when I talked about coaching is like the way the Warriors played, and they didn't play Bledsoe. They made it sure you had to go small, so they couldn't play LaMarcus Aldridge. LaMarcus Aldridge did not play much because there was no one out there for him to guard. When I look at what the Brooklyn Nets are, their team is not constructed the way they thought their team was going to be constructed. We know why, but ultimately no Joe Harris, and then they only had Patty Mills to help space the floor. And so they just ran zone against those boys, and they had no answer. I was actually surprised that they pulled out these stops to kind of show a little bit of their hands. I'm not saying that the finals preview, but it is interesting to see the type of defenses that the Warriors are capable of doing already, especially with all the young guys.
Well, to be honest, no one in the NBA is on the same level as the Warriors right now. I want to get to a point that you just brought up with LaMarcus Aldridge. And I want to point out Steve Nash. And I hate to do this because he's a second-year coach, but I got to call it a spade is a spade and a heart is a heart, all right? So when you think about Steve Nash and the way that he coached the game last night, Steve Kerr, Mike Brown, Ron Adams ran circles around him and his coaching staff. Like, LaMarcus Aldridge was basically the third option for the Brooklyn Nets over their win streak, right? You look at Kevin Durant, James Harden, LaMarcus Aldridge was coming in off the bench. You have to slow the game down. You cannot play Warrior-style basketball and try to beat them at their own game. You're going to lose. So the fact that LaMarcus Aldridge didn't get a minute in the first half was beyond me.
And he's got the second highest per on their team. That means he is impacting them in so many different ways. When he scores 20 points, you're going to let the Warriors, and we've seen this before when they play their, small ball and do that. They literally took the third best player for the Brooklyn Nets out of the game and didn't even boo it. And Steve Nash conceded before the game even started. That's a tough one.
Well, I was going to say, Perkins is on the floor. Where is he? Bring him up to me. 3, 3, 3.
Yeah, but Zach, at that point in time, as a player, your mental is gone. Like you've been in the rotation, you've been featured in the offense, and then all of a sudden you get to this game and you don't touch the floor in the first half.
That's fair.
Mentally, it's like, okay, you throwing me out here now. It's like
push-pull.
Yeah, and as a player, if we've been doing this with success, let us go fail. Well, let us go fail, or let me go out there, let them attack me in the first half, and then you don't play in the second. Maybe I post up. Maybe I get Draymond in foul trouble. Maybe he can be dominant. And I understand that this is a part of it. We've seen it. Remember Channing Frye. Channing Frye could not play in the NBA Finals because the Warriors, the minute they saw him going, they would take out their big and put smalls in. And so it's just like, it was just more of like how they attack bigs. The Warriors do a better job of taking out the bigs better than any team I've ever seen.
Well, so we have to ask the question then, because we're talking about the Brooklyn Nets. We're taking a look at the coaching. Are you making a phone call to Kyrie Irving after this loss and saying, we need you, bro?
No, that's not.
We need you.
This ain't going to happen.
Do I still have Kyrie Irving's number? Has he changed his number? Have I lost his number?
Well, can they be a winner without him?
This is not about basketball for Kyrie. We need to understand. This is look,
and that's fine.
This is not about basketball. So nothing that happens on the basketball court
talking
is
about
going to
basketball
tug on his heartstrings.
That's totally fine. But talking about basketball, because that's what we do. Looking at this Nets team now, is the maestro needed out there? Is that the ingredient? That we have the Warriors secret sauce. Zach just poured it all over our burgers, but what about for the Nets?
Well, the genius of Kyrie with their team last year was that he was not the maestro. He could stand off to the side and catch and go on the move and take over when they needed him to take over here and there. But, look, the Nets are a big three. That right now is a big 1.75 maybe. KD is KD. James is not James yet. Let's be honest. He's still not James. The first step is coming. The finishing and the last step doesn't look like it's there. Kyrie's absent. Obviously, Joe Harris is a big deal for them because then they're playing Bruce Brown and Bembry together with maybe even a third non-shooter. That screws up their offense. But they don't look like the team they were last year because they're missing a key piece, and James isn't James.
But that's the problem when you are so top heavy. When you invest into three guys like they did, giving up Karis LeVert, right? Not bringing back Spencer Dinwiddie, not bringing back.
They're not top heavy, Perk. They're not top heavy because once you get past those three, you get to LaMarcus Aldridge, you get to Joe Harris, you get, and I know some of those guys are older, but those lower level guys, those guys are very, very good.
They're not better than the team that they just faced in their role. But is what I'm trying to tell.
Agreed, but your idea was that you were going to have three. Now you have 1.75, and then LaMarcus Aldridge and those guys.
If you listen for a second, that was